Right, like, is that, are there hitmen waiting? I feel like when their number's paged at the time, because this is 93, they're going to go get them because they're on the pager. They're not just
Yeah,
queuing up.
no, 100%.
I mean,
Now, here's a question for you.
yeah.
When you were a child and you're hanging out with your mom and there was like a tense situation and then your mom would be like angry or upset or even just like serious, but then she'd like crack a joke and you were like, am I allowed to laugh at that joke or is that just a joke for her? Like, I don't understand the rules of that. Like, this isn't a joke time. And then sometimes you like laugh and then you kind of get the look like that wasn't. I
Yeah.
felt like every joke Stallone made was that. They're freezing on a mountaintop, burning $30 million, and he says, and there's like gunmen with Uzis trying to kill them, and he says, cost a fortune to heat this place.
Yeah. Oh, so.
And I was like, okay, do you like, haha, laugh at that, or are you like, Gabe? Now it's like, what do you do in that moment? And I don't know if it's like a power movie he's doing, but he said a couple things like that, where he just did these like weird one-liners, and it just seemed like a very inappropriate time to joke.
All right, so I know there's still one-liners to this day, but I feel like 93, they were still living in the era of the 80s one-liners.
Yes.
And so, or one-liners in the 80s felt more organic. I mean, obviously they were forced, stick around, that kind of stuff. But in 93, it was just more, we just have to put one in here.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, this is what we have to do.
Like, so they just threw them in there even though they weren't necessary. And Stallone had a screenwriting credit on this. So he had to have done that just thinking, oh, this is what people want. Now, I think my favorite moment in this is when Lithgow sets himself, I don't know if you can guess this, I love it, but Lithgow sets him up to be burned. I don't know if you remember this moment where he says something to Gabe. Quaylen says something to Gabe. Do you want me to throw it out there?
Throw out the setup.
Okay. So Quaylen is talking to Gabe and he goes, "You're a real piece of work." And then Gabe replies, do you want me to say it?
Say it.
He goes, "You're a real piece of shit."
It's so like it's like that's a Happy Gilmore line.
like Shooter McGavin would say that.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like it's that level of like humor. Like that's the movie where that needs to exist. But Stallone's like, I'm just gonna own it. Just gonna own it right now.
I mean, Lithgow is being there's a scene where he's running his hand along that woman's face. Like he's trying to be the stereotypical Hans Gruber in this. But I just love what his character becomes, actually. I just love that. You're a real piece of work. Oh, yeah? Well, you're a real piece of... Like, that's... Yeah. He just set himself up for that horrible insult.
And the other thing with Lithgow is that... And I think this goes for, like, almost any villain in a movie. Like, I would say the same with like any James Bond villain.
Oh, yeah.
Or Hans Gruber. If you have the money, Mark, so here's the thing. If I ever come to you like, Mark, I'm going to steal $30 million. I want you to be on part of my team. We're going to board my private jet. I'm going to outfit you with like the latest technology and armament. And we're going to have a team of people to pull this heist off. Like, how much do you think it cost Lithgow to pull this job off? How much money do you think he's got invested in it to pull it off?
Private jet, right? Very expensive.
Yep.
Crew.
Yep.
Armament. Several million at least. Visas.
So how much?
Passports.
How much do you really need?
No, he doesn't.
Like every
Every
James Bond villain has like a layer with like 400 henchmen. Why do they need more money? Just fire the henchmen.
Yep.
And live.
You will save a lot of money on insurance and henchmen.
Yeah, like I just feel like he didn't need that 30 million.
And he didn't. All right, why were those armed guys there anyway? Because if they're just doing a plane to plane, they're not going to catch him on the ground, obviously.
No.
Why does he have armed men who don't like each other with him?
Nobody was on the same page at all.
He only needed 2 pilots and 2 people on the plane to attach the cable.
And he was a pilot.
Yeah. So you could have him, the woman, the co-pilot, and I think Leon was the best henchman. He was the least crazy, even though he did open hand slap and he kicked Stallone in the lower back with his shin, and he left both feet off. He jumped. He did a flying shin kick to the lower back of Stallone. So you have
it was the most 93 fight I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Yes. That's amazing. That's the most 93 fight I've ever seen. And when he grabs Leon's balls, like they have a close up, they shot an insert of that, and then you hear the crunch. The Foley artist got like crunch some walnuts.
Exactly.
Exactly. So it's just Lithgow, Leon, and the two pilots. They get the money. They bring the two pilots on. They take care of the two pilots. Well, yeah. I mean, none of it was necessary. And why spend five? Yeah, that's a great point, what you said. So you're saying why spend $10 million to get $30 million?
Right, like what can $30 million buy you that 10 can't?
Yeah, you're right. That private jet's expensive.
Yeah, just enjoy it. You've got a lady who clearly thinks you're top stuff.
And she can make cake.
Take her. Yeah, she can make cake. She can bake. You should see her bake. And
she says that too, and you're like, what?
Yeah. But yeah, like just go enjoy life.
This is my theory. I got a theory for you. Why he brings these people with him. He wants friends. Because at the end, when all of his friends have died, and he just wants this company, he tells Stallone, he's like, okay, Stallone, I'll listen to your plan. Stallone throws the cash. The cash gets wiped out by the helicopter.
Which is a great moment.
He yells, he goes, damn you, Walker. He is sad that Stallone tricked him.
Right.
This is a man who has murdered a lot of people. His goons have killed everybody, but he still just wants to have a friend. He trusts him. So maybe he was legit bummed by this. And at the end, he's like, now we just have each other. So I think he's just a guy who likes having people around him.
Yeah. Yeah. So midway through this movie, Mark, my brain did an interesting thing.
Uh-oh.
So I'd like to make a proposal for you.
Let's hear it.
We're the same age, so we're going to probably retire at about the same place. I suggest, now this is going to go deep cut a little bit, that we move near each other and we open competing but not aggressively hamburger stands.
Absolutely.
Mine will be called Hal Tucker's, and yours will be called Gabe Walker's.
Yes.
And we'll both claim to have the best mountain burger in town, and we'll just see who makes more money selling burgers.
I like it. Can we have a cable attached from my restaurant to your restaurant that people can zip line across?
Well, it'll be a little zip line for condiments. If I'm out of ketchup, you just zip me over some ketchup, and I can just send barbecue sauce back your way. To me, Hal Tucker and Gabe Walker both sounded like burger places.
Gabe Walker's. Oh, man. Hal Tucker. You want to go to Tucker's, get a burger? You want to go to Gabe? Yeah. And so...
You want to go down to Walker's, get some fries? Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, man. So, let's say I'm really heavy on bacon and you're not, but bacon prices soar. You'll kind of... Right. Like, you'll understand and you'll, like, let me cut a deal on something so that I get more customers over there because I'm just getting slaughtered on bacon. So we're...
Yeah.
Like, we have, like... I obviously don't like it if you have 50 people in line every day and I have 0, right?
No.
I'm going to do some
enjoy healthy competition.
Exactly. I mean, there's going to be... You're not going to have any ketchup one day, basically. And then I'll be like, hey, I got ketchup over here. And you're going to be like, oh, he's irascible.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then once a year, we'll do a burger called the Hal Walker. And we'll combine and we'll enter it into burger festivals.
Oh, man. And then we'll, like on Reign of Fire, we'll act out Cliffhanger on a stage.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. We will act out Cliffhanger on a stage. Never will our wives be prouder of us.
I mean, well, the thing is, though, we'll do it earnestly.
Okay. Are you ready for this? Here's the linchpin.
Yeah.
We will look at burger sales for the year. And so on the year anniversary, when we annually reenact Cliffhanger, whichever one of us sells more burgers that year plays Walker, and whichever one of us doesn't plays Tucker.
I love it. So I just got to have, I just got to yell a lot.
If we move to like the right size town, this could be a thing. Like people could be, like I'm thinking like 15,000 people is the right amount of people for this town.
You know that show, like Gilmore Girls type, but in
Yes.
the mountains and out west.
Well, like out that direction, but not full out. We don't want real climbers coming and telling us how inaccurate our zip lines are. This was my big problem with This is like the sore spot for Cliffhanger in my life.
Uh-oh.
So, are you a rock climber at all?
No, but my brother and I once traipsed around Scotland calling ourselves rock climbers, and we just kind of jumped on rocks and then filmed it.
Okay.
And I used an Australian accent, but I've never actually climbed high distances.
Between I'd say 93 and 98, rock climbing became a huge fad. We would like indoor rock climbing places opened up, and like youth groups and stuff would always be like a great event is go to indoor rock climbing place. There's a place about 3 hours from me that has the largest indoor rock climbing wall in the world because it's an old factory and they've hollowed out the smokestacks, the chimneys.
Whoa!
And you can climb up the chimneys. It's in Kingston. It's fantastic. It's called the Boiler Room. It's an old boiler factory. So we used to go there a lot, and so people got like. In high school when you're like, oh, I'm going to get really into something, and then you think you're an expert on it, but you're like actually just 16 years old and you don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
So there was a lot of rock climbing guys in my high school that were like, love to tell me about why Cliffhanger would never happen. You know why that would never happen? Because the clip that broke at the beginning would never break because it's supposed to be, it's gauged for like 2,000 pounds, so that girl wouldn't have broke it. And they just like give me logic, and I'm like, if I wanted logic, I would not watch a movie with Sylvester Stallone
Called Cliffhanger.
Like you're missing. I'd watch Bowling for Columbine. I'd watch, I'd watch a documentary or a science video or something. I wouldn't. So don't like throw logic at me. I don't care about logic in this moment. I just want to watch Stallone punch dudes in the face.
Was there so I guess it looks good on the trailer, but was that death in the beginning necessary?
I would say yes. Yes, I would say it's to build the tension between Gabe and Tucker. I would say yes, they needed something, and
how'd they get up there? That's a heck of a climb they made.
And I think it's like maybe their first or second date.
Yeah,
like they. Like
she does not know about the jacuzzi incident.
She is not a climber at all.
She's what's the word? She's like a climbing savant though. If she does that in her second climb.
Yeah, no, she naturally does it, but then when it gets going, when the going gets tough, she freaks out. She's terrified of heights.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the VHS cover of Cliffhanger has an image of Stallone. And then there's like a part of his buckle that's pointing up, and it's just him just hanging off the F from Cliffhanger. And then his harness around they've just painted out the rope, but left a clip up as if the rope was pulling on it. And so that's, so my cousin worked at the theater in Nipigon, where I grew up, and she gave me the marquee Cliffhanger poster, which was in my room for a while. And so there's this like really bad photoshopping on the actual Cliffhanger poster, which is hilarious.
Oh, I love that. Do you know in the trailer they showed him making a 40-foot jump? They had him, and test audiences hated it so much. They're like, he just jumped so I wrote a post about this, The Rock in Skyscraper completing the longest jump in cinematic history by a human. And everyone kept going
about that with Rain of Fire.
Everyone kept saying, no, it's Cliffhanger. And I'm like, but all right, the trailer has that, but that's not in the movie. But people kept bringing that up. So I got a little annoyed by it. But so this is a movie. When you're looking for realism in a Stallone film, they had him do a 40-foot jump. But I have a question. The jump seems weirder now because they edited it. So basically he clears a mountain. He jumps over a chasm, clears a mountain, and falls down the other side of it now. So it went from a 40 foot jump to about